Hi guys, it's the 8th of September in Oxford. It's a beautiful, warm, sunny afternoon. I love the summer. I don't hate the winter, but I love the summer. I try to live in shorts as long as I can. And obviously by the end of August, summer's basically come to an end or coming to an end. So any nice days we get in September and even October, I really appreciate them. And today, the 8th, September 25 is a lovely day. It's about 24 degrees, perfect. It actually feels quite hot when the sun comes out. There's a little bit of cloud in the sky, but I can live with that. In fact, we've had quite a lot of rain, as many of us have in the UK in the past week or so, which has resulted in the grass has started growing, but only in clumps where it's not dead. So I've actually cut the grass this afternoon, and front and rear, and now I'm sat here enjoying the weather, taking advantage of some sunshine because I don't know how much longer it'll go on with. I read yesterday that 2025 is the hottest summer on record for the UK, and I get we've had a really good summer, but the hottest on record on average, I don't know. I'm not sure it's been that good, but there's no doubt it has been a great summer. Antenna wise, summer's always the best time of year. Well, spring, summer, because you don't generally tend to get so much wind. And since I got into amateur radio, wind is by far the worst type of weather for me, because it usually results in damage to my end-fed long wire. And it had been a long time since the storms of last winter. I haven't actually had to do anything until fairly recently when, for whatever reason, the plugging in the extension to it to allow it to match very well on top band, something went wrong and that stopped working, and I had a match of better than 2-1 on top band, and it went up to something horrendous, 27-1. Something serious went wrong with it. But weirdly, I've now that I don't bother doing that, I check the SWR, and I now get an acceptable match on top band and an excellent match on bare match on 40 and 80 meters. So I've got this, this one end-fed wire, which is obviously a compromise on all bands, but works very well on 80 and 40 and is acceptable on top band. And when I'm working the Harwell ARS Sked, some of my strongest signal reports, obviously for short skip with other guys in the group, is on top band. So I've got an antenna that, although there's something wrong with it as compared to how I originally designed it and laid it out, is now matching on all three bands without the extension on the end, which used to be required. So I haven't got the time to work it all out, because basically I'd have to take the whole lot down. The first thing I do is measure that, obviously would be disconnect it, measure the start and end to make sure there isn't a break in the wire anywhere, but I haven't even got time to do that, so I'm just living with it for now. Who knows what the weather's going to be like this winter, but I could do with not much wind if that's all right with everybody. And then there's nothing worse than having to effect antenna repairs in bad weather. In fact, I was ill actually with a chest infection last winter, in December actually, when just after we had one of those famously named storms. I can't remember the name of it now, but I'm still recovering from a chest infection, was out here putting all the poles back up. And I shouldn't have done it really, but when my antenna's down, something drives me to get it back up again as quickly as possible. And so that's the last time I did anything serious to my end-fed wire. Sometimes the telescopic poles, I tend to take the sections up to stop them slipping down again, but sometimes they still slip a bit, but otherwise it's all been pretty good. And both my Wellbrook loops are still in full working order, in a perpendicular orientation, bit low to the ground, but in the 10 years or so I've been using them, it doesn't seem to make any difference. I've actually got a third loop now that someone from Harwell ARS sold to me because he decided to go a different way. So I've actually got 3 of these loops. I haven't got time to I haven't got the time to invest in a rotator, which would be a better solution. But I've got most signals that I'm interested in covered, having 2 antennas in a perpendicular orientation. And those of you who follow the channel will know that I've got them wired into via a bias T, the M0KEP kindly supplied to me, and I can basically toggle the power to the amplifier on both on and off when I'm keying up my mic, when I'm working amateur radio, and obviously toggle between them on receive to obtain the best signal. And I can do that also when I'm just DXing on shortwave. So they've been sat there now, where you can see I didn't even bother taking the bubble wrap off the one that's hanging on the fence. It's been there for hanging there for 5 years. I've never had a problem with the antenna itself, and I can't remember the last time I had a problem with the coax. So the other antenna has also been outside for the years now, and again, you know, they just don't go wrong. I bet touch wood saying that. And then the Megaloop FX is also hanging on the fence. I took this antenna to North America last year, as you know, Pittsburgh and Texas, and it performed admirably. This is where I got it from when I packed it into my case. It had been hanging here again for a long time, and that's now back. So I've got those 3 magnetic loop receive options, and they're not affected by the weather, wind, etc. So there's not an issue with that. So there you go. Lovely, warm, sunny autumn day, and I appreciate the warmer days in autumn much more so than I appreciate, I think, in the summer, because the onset of autumn and then winter is well, it's a bit depressing really, isn't it? Let's be honest. And I do like to spend time outside, which I don't do a lot of in sort of November, December, January, February. So yeah, I hope that this summery weather continues for as long as possible, and my antennas stay in one piece. So there you go. I think I recorded a similar video last year actually, but I got a feeling that was on the 15th of September. So this is about a week earlier than last year, but much appreciated all the same. Anyway, I just thought I'd send you those notes. Thanks for watching, and 7-3.